I've got here a page and my cursor is moving over the page. And as I come to these three sections, these three cards that I have in this featured section, you will notice my cursor changes to these crosshairs. And this is done with the module add-on from ElementsKit for Elementor. Let's have a look at how this is done. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good wherever you are. This is Websites for Beginners. I am JP, and we're looking at ElementsKit, and we're looking at a module called the mouse cursor. And if you want to know more about ElementsKit, follow the link in the description below, and then you can see here, look at all these elements. Many of these are actually modules. They're a little bit different than an element. You know, an element is something you drag and drop onto the page, and a module usually alters some interaction or some function on the page, and that is what the mouse cursor does. You will find this nicely in alphabetical order, mouse cursor over here, new and pro. And make sure that when you are within WordPress, you go to your backend, then you go to ElementsKit, and then here select modules and activate the mouse cursor over here. And once you have activated it, like I've done here, select Save Changes at the top, and then you will be able to access it right within Elementor Builder. If we have a quick look at other things that you can do with it, and there are many cool features here. I go to the Buy Now button, and you see how the cursor changes. Note that my little cursor, the default cursor on my screen, plus the additional mouse cursor, both of them appear there. You can deactivate that, and we'll have a look at that. Here, you will see there's a little funky thing that appears when you hover over this image, and then you have these kind of comic-y things that appear. This one I actually do like. And the reason I say actually do like, I'm not a big fan usually, of adding all of this kind of distraction. That's kind of what I feel, especially this one at the top. I feel this is kind of distracting, and as a designer, you can spend your time on doing better things than working on bringing in this, and it's really not going to generate more leads or make your website more interactive. But this one is cool. I like this, that you have kind of these little help tags that pop up. The other thing I just want to remind you about this kind of effect. Flash sale, pretty nice. I like it. But the practicality behind it is that people on a tablet and mobile device will probably not see this. And there we have a cursor that changes again. But let's go have a look at how this module works, and then you can apply it to those elements and widgets on your page that you feel may need a little bit of power boost. I've got a great demo website here. If you ever want to know more about these demo websites I use, this is from the Blocksy theme. Check the link for that in the description below. Great starter sites to get your e-commerce website going. And the other thing I just also want to mention, I'm using free hosting to practice, and it's called Taste WP. So give these guys also a spin. I've also added a link for that in the description below. Let's go to the About Us page, and then we will bring some cursors in for this section, Meet Our Team. Let's go ahead and edit with Elementor. Now, as I mentioned earlier, once you have activated this module, you're not going to find it over here within the Elements pane. So what happens is that you need to assign this to a widget already on the page. So what I have here, I have an entire section. I can assign that cursor to appear to the entire section, or I can assign it to each of these one by one. To do that, I click here on my, image box, and then I go to Advanced, and that's where you're always going to find it. So whether it is a title like this one up here, a heading, go to Advanced, scroll down, and you will find it here, ElementsKit mouse cursor, or whether it's an image or a video, anywhere you can get into editing a widget, an element, a section, you're going to find that option. I'll click again on this image, scroll down to ElementsKit mouse cursor, and then we enable it. And let's hover over it, and you can see by default it shows the ElementsKit cursor with your standard cursor. What do we have here? We have content, and then styling. It's going to change the color of what you've got there. In terms of background, you can apply all the normal styling there. But let's stick to this one, which is text. We have image and icon. We'll have a look at that very shortly. The text label, we can say JP's favorite aunt. I'm not sure why I typed that, but just to show you, yeah, it does appear there. I think I may be older than she is. And then we have disable default cursor, so I can deactivate it over here. Then you have alignment, and I'm not entirely sure alignment probably comes into play once we go to style. So let's have a look at style quickly, because that's where the border and the background will give you a little bit more flexibility. Let's build it out. I will go to background and use a classic background, which is a full color, and we'll just put it on white. And let's see already, you can see there we go. And then from here, we're going to add some padding, and I'll keep the sides linked at 15 pixels. And now you see, this is kind of the idea. It really starts to stand out. Border, we can make this very interesting. Let's put a solid border there. I'll delink the sides of the border, and I'll only give it a left border of 5 pixels. I'm usually very bad with this concept of left and right. And then let's just look for background type. And there's another one, color, typography, border color over here. And let's make this black and see what we have created here. Exactly. This looks nice, right? And this is how you work with the text one. I really like this. I so want to use it. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to really pull this off on a device like a tablet and a mobile device. But this is such a cool feature. Let's go back to content and look at the other two you've got there. You've got image and you've got icon. Let's jump image and go to icon, because this one is easy. You can go to the icon library, but by default, it gives us a smiley face. And then under styling, you're going to have all the changes again to color. You can add a border there as well, and also change the size. The icon library is there, and you can upload an SVG as well. Let's do that. I always want to test things like SVG. Let's enable it. And I have an SVG. What did I download here yesterday? Just grab this SVG over here and insert it. And there we go. One thing I just want to check about the SVG color is whether I can control it. And these are things that you think, why are you testing it? It's there. You see, that's one of the things often that when you do bring a SVG in like I did already with a color, it doesn't help here in the color to set it. It won't override it. So remember, if you do bring an SVG, try and get the color of your SVG right. I can probably bring in a background type. So let's just choose a color for that. And I'll make it also white so we can see it. See, the white works, but this one won't work because my SVG is overriding that. So keep that in mind. But I do like we have all these features, works perfectly in that sense. And I do like the SVG as well. Now, next to SVG is image, and image is more or less exactly the same like an SVG, right? It's just a different format. It's PNG or JPEG. For your reference, I love another website that I use all the time for images, and this is where I got this nice cursor, but we can download a different one, and I'll show you how I do that. So let's click on this magnifying glass. This website is called The Noun Project. Millions of icons. I'm pretty sure you have your stock sites too that you like to use. I'll click on download PNG, jump back, and we go to image, and I'll drag that image in and then select. And let's see. Nice. That's it. And then you have, again, styles over here. And because you're using an image, you definitely need to set the color before the time you bring it in. To note, I mentioned at the beginning, you're going to apply this on a widget, by an element basis, whether it's a column, a section, or individual widgets. So that means now that I have applied it to this card here, when I go over to another Mary Ann Stewart here, right next to her, I don't get this. So you need to apply it one by one. But as you know, there is a shortcut. You can go right-click, copy, and then right-click, paste style, right-click, paste style, right-click, and paste style. And now I have applied that mouse cursor setting to all of them. If this is just what you needed today, go and check out ElementsKit for Elementor and the mouse cursor add-on. And that's us from Websites for Beginners.